one how to change a scene. So scenes are basically like application. You can think of scenes as application pages or views. And changing scene means changing from one view to another, or like changing a page in the application. So let's see how we can do that. So this was our previous project. I actually added the code for changing a scene. So let me show you. Previously, this was our application in the last lab. So we had two input fields and had two buttons and output to show the add and multiply operations. So what I did is added another button called change scene. Okay. Then in this button, I added the on action field and added a method name change scene. Okay. So when this button is called, it will look for this method in the controller class. So if I go back to the code, so this is the button change scene, and on action it is looking for the change scene method. Okay. So in the controller, I added the change scene method like this. So this method actually has a parameter action event, which is javafx.event.action event, this class. Okay. So this change scene method has a parameter action event and it throws an IO exception. Okay. So inside it, the first line is we are using another class, fxml loader class. Following the load method, then here we are passing the sample2.fxml file. So this sample2.fxml is the fxml file for our second page or for our new scene. So if I take a look at this scene, okay, it's just a simple label. It contains a simple label that says this is scene 2. Okay. So this is UI is very simple, contains only a single label with the text this is scene 2. Okay. Back to the code. So how does Java know, or how does the FX application know to load this scene? So first thing I'll do is I will represent my scene or my fxml file sample2 fxml using this class. So it will be represented by a parent object. Okay, so our sample2 fxml will be represented by a parent object. And to create the fxml file, just right click, new fxml file. Then after creating the fxml file, you can edit it in scene builder. Okay, to create the fxml file, new fxml file, then you can edit it in the fxml or scene builder. Then you represent the fxml file using this parent object. Then after that, using the parent object, you create a new scene. Okay, let's change the name of this scene to okay. So you represent our scene, our fxml file with parent object. Then we create a scene object using the parent object. Now, if you remember in the last class, I told you that the scenes are actually inside another object called stage. Okay. And this stage actually holds the different scenes of the applications. And so change a scene, we need to set the scene in our stage object. তাহলে সিনটা ক্রিয়েট করে সেটাকে আমরা স্টেজে সেট করে দিই। So to get the current stage, we will actually use the event object. So I am calling this এইভাবে কল করা হচ্ছে। এখানে অনেকগুলো মেথড কল দিয়ে জিনিসটাকে কল করা হয়েছে। সো এই জিনিসটা আসলে এভাবে আমাদের কল দিতে হবে। So to get the stage object, we will need the event object, then we will get its source, then get scene, then get window. Okay. So by calling parent methods, so event.get source will get the button object. Then get scene will get the scene for that button, and get window will get the stage for that button. Okay. So by calling methods using the event object, we can get the stage. And after we get the stage, we have created the new scene. We can just set the scene to our stage. Okay. So window, this is our set stage, our set scene, our new scene. Then we just call window.show to show the new scene. So this code will change the scene of our application when we press the change scene button. So if I run the code, first this scene appears, and if I click change scene, this code will execute and it will set the sample fxml2 as the new scene. So if I press that button, thus it goes to the second scene. Okay. Now one thing is, for the sample fxml2 file, it also contains the fx controller option. So what you should do here is you should write another controller class for a different scene. ঠিক আছে, সব fxml ফাইলের কোড একটা কন্ট্রোলার ক্লাসে রাখাটা it's not a good idea. Yeah. So what you should do is, for each different fxml file, you should select a different controller. So I actually haven't selected a different controller for my scene because I did not do anything in my scene 2. But you should provide a new controller for your second scene. Okay. So this is how we can change a scene in fxml. Any questions?
নো স্যার।
স্যার স্টেজ উইন্ডো লাইনটা কিভাবে কাজ করে?
Stage window. So I am taking a parameter action event. So it passes the event object for the button click event. From that event object, I am getting the source object. That is our button. And we are representing as a node. Then using the button object, I can get the scene object where the button is inside. And using the scene, I can get the window object, which is actually our stage. Yes, sir. So inside the method, I need the stage object for the current application stage. এই স্টেজ অবজেক্টটা কিন্তু এখানে আমাদের ছিল, এই যে primary stage, right? So it was supplied to the start method. The stage object was supplied to the start method. But in the button, it is not supplied. What was supplied? An action event. So we need to get the stage object from that action event object. So এটার ওই parent method গুলো কল করে করে আমরা সেই স্টেজটাকে পেয়ে গেছি। So after we get the stage and after we create the scene, we can just set scene like also in the main. Primary stage, just set scene. Then for during creating the scene, you can also set its size. So here, when we're creating the new scene, I can also set its size to 600 by 450. So এটার সাথে মিল আছে। এখানে দেখো যে আমরা যে fxml লোডার ইউজ করছিলাম, লোডারটা দিয়ে আমরা fxml ফাইলটা লোড করছি প্যারেন্ট অবজেক্ট হিসেবে। So here we are also doing that. Then আমরা সিন ক্রিয়েট করতেছি। সিন এখানে অবশ্য আলাদা অবজেক্ট ক্রিয়েট করা হয় নাই, ডাইরেক্টলি এই প্যারেন্ট অবজেক্ট দিয়ে সিনটাকে ক্রিয়েট করে ফেলা হয়েছে। সো এখানে আমরা যেটা করতে পারি, এখানে সেট সিন না দিয়ে আমরা হচ্ছে এই লাইনটা ডাইরেক্টলি দিয়ে দিতে পারি যদি মেইনেরটা ফলো করি। মেইনে ডাইরেক্টলি সেট সিন মেথডের মধ্যে এটাকে পাস করে দেওয়া হয়েছে। সো উই ক্যান অলসো ডু দ্যাট। উই ক্যান জাস্ট পাস দিস inside the setScene method. But the changes or the thing that was not passed was the stage object. সো এই দুইটা আগের মতোই, এখানে যেরকম ছিল এরকমই, খালি এখানে আমাদের স্টেজ উইন্ডোটা পাস হয় নাই, আমরা স্টেজ উইন্ডোটাকে ইভেন্ট অবজেক্টটা থেকে আমরা ক্রিয়েট করি, তারপরে সিন স্টেট সেট করে শো দিয়ে দিই, এখানে শো আছে। Okay, so this is how we change a scene. So if I want to go back from the scene 2 to our previous scene, we can do it by adding a button in the scene 2. From here, like we can add a button go back or something. And when that button is pressed, we can go back to the previous scene. তখন কোডটা এরকম আরেকটা কোড হবে। আর যেহেতু this as this fxml file is using this controller class, so you should write the method in this class. But as I have said, for different fxml files, you should use different controller classes. Okay, anything else? Any questions? Actually, just keep this similar to the main. So I will just directly pass it here. So it represents the code in the main. You can also set title. This is now the stage. Okay, do you have any question on fxml or controller or in JavaFX programming? You can ask me. JavaFX programming এ কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন থাকলে এখান জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারো।
স্যার সিন বিল্ডার নিয়ে একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, গতকালকে মেইল করেছিলাম আপনাকে।
হ্যাঁ, কি ছিল জানি?
স্যার আপনার হচ্ছে কন্ট্রোল সেক্টর, স্যার যদি কাইন্ডলি দেখতেন উপরে এখানে চয়েস বক্স আছে 3 নাম্বারটা।
চয়েস বক্স।
জি স্যার, চয়েস বক্সটাতে আমি কোনো আইটেম অ্যাড করতে পারতেছি না, এটা কিভাবে অ্যাড করে?
দেখি। চয়েস বক্স কন্ট্রোল চয়েস বক্স।
স্যার আমি এখানে ইয়ার গুলো অ্যাড করতে যাচ্ছিলাম আর কি, একদম 00 to 2021 এরকম।
ওকে, এখানে প্রপার্টিস can I guess? So choice box আর combo box এর ডিফারেন্সটা কি?
স্যার দুটো ট্রাই করেছি, দুটো সেমই আসে।
So let me check for a bit. দেখি পাই নাকি কিছু। Okay, so you can add the items from your code. Yeah. So say this is the choice box. Choice box. Let's try again. Okay. Let's open it again. Okay, scene builder is yeah. So let's enter the choice box. Then give it a ID. ID is choice. Save it. Okay. So this is the choice box. Huh? And the controller for this fxml file is our sample controller class. So in the sample controller, we can এখানে অবশ্য একটা ঝামেলা হচ্ছে, আমি যেহেতু অন্য একটা সিনে যাচ্ছি, so before going to the scene I might need to add the items in the fxml. Here, before changing the scene, let's add some item to the choice box. Uh, what was the method for choice box adding item? Let's see again. Java fx choice add items. Okay, so এখানে so it uses a observable array list. So let's just do what it's doing. যা করতেছে ওটা আমরা কপি করে নিয়ে করে দিই। Box dot set items fx collections observable array list. Okay, then let's see what happens. আচ্ছা, এখানে করা যাবে না। সমস্যাটা হচ্ছে সিনটা যখন ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে তখন হচ্ছে এই চয়েস বক্সটা নাল। Maybe after creating the scene. Still the choice box is null. So I think এক্সএলএমএল এর মধ্যে হয়তো করা যেতে পারে। ওটা একটু দেখি। আচ্ছা, এখানে প্রবলেম আরেকটা হচ্ছে কি, যে আমি যেহেতু নতুন একটা পেজে যাচ্ছি, ওই পেজে গিয়ে আমার ইনিশিয়ালাইজটা করতে হচ্ছে সামথিং। সো আমি তোমাকে সিন ওয়ানে এটা দেখাই, কিভাবে সিন ওয়ানে এটাকে পপুলেট করা যায়। সিন টু তে একটু প্রবলেম হচ্ছে, কারণ আমি সিন টু তে সেম কন্ট্রোলার ইউজ করছি। সো লেটস ডু দ্যাট ইন দ্য সিন ওয়ান or the first scene. The first scene at the choice box.
স্ক্রিনটা একটু শেয়ার করলে বেটার হতো।
It's choice box. So added the choice box in the first scene. Yes, sir. So and in the controller initialize method, controller should have an initialize method that we can override. Or maybe during the constructor is called. Let's see. আচ্ছা, এভাবে এভাবে কল দেওয়া যাবে না কনস্ট্রাক্টর। একটু প্রবলেম এটা, আমাকে একটু দেখতে দাও, ঠিক আছে?
ওকে স্যার।
So what we need to do is first at the choice box, get it some ID. So this is the ID. In the controller, call the initialize method using at fxml initialize. Okay. So we can use this method for initialization purposes like this. So in the choice box, I want to set some choices. So I will call the initialize method using that at fxml tag. And here I will set the items in the choice box using this code. So now the choice box in our code here, just remove it. Or maybe also keep it here. Let's see if it works in the second scene. So in the first scene, I have this choice box with the ID. Now if I run it, now this choice box has the options.
স্যার এটা তো ফার্স্ট সেকেন্ড থার্ডের ক্ষেত্রে হলো, বাট আমি যদি এখানে ইয়ার অ্যাড করতে চাই,
ইয়ার অ্যাড করতে চাইলে এখানে তুমি হচ্ছে যতগুলো ইয়ার দিতে চাও ওগুলো দিতে হবে অবজারভেবল লিস্টে।
স্যার লাইক আমি যদি 1901 থেকে 2021 দিতে চাই, তাহলে সেই ক্ষেত্রে তো আমার সবগুলো লেখা লাগতেছে। এই ক্ষেত্রে কি কোনো শর্টকাট আছে?
একটা কাজ করতে পারো যে ওই ভ্যালুগুলো তুমি ফার্স্টে কনসোলে প্রিন্ট করে দেন ওইটা কপি করে দিতে পারো। অর observable array list, because this is an array list, what can I insert here? Okay. I'm not sure if I can pass a list here. Okay. Let's see if it works. I guess so. This is work. So you can pass an array list. I guess. Run করে দেখি কাজ করে কিনা। Okay, so this works. So you can put the values in your array list, then you can set the array list here. ঠিক আছে?
ওকে স্যার, জি স্যার।
Run it again. It also works. Okay, so in the second scene it also works. So for the second scene also it initializes using this initialization method. One, two, three. If I change scene, I can also set 1, 2, 3. Any other questions? Okay, so this is it for our Java FX. Java FX আমরা একটু কি দেখবো, and we will move to a new topic today, that is threads in Java. So do we know what threads are? Threads নিয়ে কি আগে কখনো কিছু দেখছি? Have we worked with the thread application?
স্যার স্লিপ মেথড নিয়ে কাজ করা হয়েছে।
কি মেথড?
স্যার স্লিপ মেথড।
সিলেক্ট মেথড কি? থ্রেডের সাথে রিলেশন কি? আচ্ছা, actually let me give you this sample package which is inside source. I will give it this sample package. Zip up this sample package in your Google Drive. So I got time page. This is lab 4. Okay, so this is the zip file for our for my package sample. So we'll delete this. So this is it for JavaFX. Now I will create a new project or open another. We have this. And here we will take a look at threads in Java. So why are thread used? Threads helps us to run multiple different commands almost similarly or almost at the same time. So let me create a new package first, lab 4. So let me show you a code. So say I need to create 10 files and each of the file contains 1 million lines. Okay, so I need to create 10 files containing 1 million lines each. So I will create a Java class for that. So this will be first a single threaded program. So single thread write file. So this will be our class single thread write file. And its task will be to write 10 files, each containing 1 million lines. So in the constructor of this class, I will write the code. So I will add a buffered reader writer. We remember file writing, right? File writing কিভাবে করে মনে আছে? Buffer writer use করে। মনে আছে? কি মেথড ইউজ করে রাইট করার জন্য? In the buffer writer object, what is the method that we use for writing to a file?
File
Right.
writer.
Right. The
Right
writer.
method. Writer is the object. We need to use the right method. So buffer writer equal to new buffer writer. Okay. So we need to actually create 10 files. So I need to do this in a loop. For int I equals 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So because we are using 10 files, I need to create a loop that runs 10 times. And in the application, I will create a new directory where I will save my files. So my files that will be created will go here. Okay. So the file name should be string file name should be files. That is these files. I can copy the path. So the file name should be files slash file number 1.txt, file number 2.txt, like that. So because this is single threaded, I'll call it st, then I'll give it a number. Okay. So the number can be the value of I. So I will add I dot and add dot txt at the end. Okay. So when the value of I is 0, the file name will be file slash st0.txt. ঠিক আছে? When the value of I is 1, the file name will be file slash st1.txt. So it will create a st1 file in the files directory. Is this clear? এটা কি বুঝছি ফাইল নেমটা?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after selecting the file name, let's get the buffer writer object. Buffer writer equal to new buffer writer, new file writer, file name. Okay, so this is our writer object. Now again, I'll need another loop. How many times will that loop run? কতগুলো লাইন আছে বলছিলাম একটা ফাইলে?
Sir, 1 million.
Right. So I'll need another loop for in j equals 0, j less than 1 million, that is 6 zeros, j plus plus. And inside it, I will writer dot write, and I need to write the value of j as a string. Otherwise, it অন্য একটা কিছু write করবে. Okay. So this will write the 1 million lines in the given file name, and it will do it for 10 files. So in the first file, it will write 1 million lines. Then in the second file, again 1 million lines. And what will be the value that is written? The value of j starting from 0 to 6 nines. ওই পর্যন্ত ভ্যালুগুলো সে হচ্ছে ফাইলে রাইট করবে। And after the writing, I will close my file. Writer dot close. Is this code clear? কোডটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the purpose for showing you this is I need to measure how much time does it takes for a single thread application to do this. Because when we do it multi-threaded application, we want to compare it. How much time a multi-threaded application takes. Okay. So I need some way to measure how much time this code takes. So what I will do is I will create a long variable, call it t1 equal to system dot current time millisecond. So it will return a long variable that represents the current time. So before starting our code, I will take the current time in milliseconds. Then after our code has ended, after the for loop has ended, I will again take a time reading. So long t2 equal to system dot current time in milliseconds. Can you tell me how much time did my code take? How can I get that time?
T2 minus T1.
Right. So time taken is t2. Time taken in millisecond. Value is t2 minus t1. So actually this is the value that I need. এখানে যা কাজ করছে এটা এর চেয়ে আমার এই ভ্যালুটা বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। I want to see how much time it takes for writing to 10 files, and each file contains 1 million lines. Okay. So to run this, I'll need to create an object of this class. So I will create the main method, set this class, and I will create a object of new single threaded write file. Okay, sir. So this will call this, and this should create 10 files and write 1 million lines in each. So let me run this. So it should take some time. Okay, so it has completed, and the time is 763 milliseconds. So less than a second actually it took. File ki beshi choto hoye geche? Okay, maybe I will need to add a new line after printing each line. So do it again. And here after printing each line, I will add a new line. So run it again. 787 milliseconds. Okay. Now if I check a file, it contains all the way from starting from 0 to all the way to 999. Okay, so 1 million lines we have. And actually দেখো এই 1 million lines এর জন্য আমাদের 6.89 MB জায়গা লাগছে ফাইলে। ঠিক আছে, 1 মিলিয়ন লাইন লিখতে আমাদের 6.89 মেগাবাইট জায়গা লাগছে। So it's actually wonderful that a program can write. Actually, how many lines did we write in 10 files? কত মিলিয়ন লাইন রাইট করছি আমরা? Total how many lines did we write? Each file wrote 1 million lines.
10 into 1 million.
Right. So we wrote total of 10 million lines. 1 কোটি লাইন আমরা লিখছি, এটা আমাদের লিখতে less than a second লাগছে। 1 কোটি লাইন 10টা ফাইলে লিখতে আমাদের 1 সেকেন্ডের কম সময় লাগছে। Okay. So now we will see that we can even improve this time using multi-threaded programming. Okay. So before doing that, I will show you some introductory codes to Java threads. So I will create a class called thread test. So here we will see how we can create thread applications. So to create a thread application, there are actually two ways. Or for Java classes to support threads, there are actually two ways. One way is to implement the runnable interface. So say we have a class is runnable. So this is my class name. It implements, or maybe start with the thread extensor. So it extends thread. Inside it, let me have a method called public. You can see this is a overridden method. So the thread class contains a run method, and I am overriding that method. Okay, now inside the run method, just let me print some things. So write a loop, type equal to 0, I less than 10, plus print I. So in the run method, I am printing 10 lines. Okay, so সেটটা কিভাবে কাজ করে এটা আমি একটু দেখাচ্ছি. Let's take a 2-minute break. Then after that, I will show you how this is working. Okay, so 2 minutes per month. And maybe recording একটা ব্রেকও দেই, লম্বা রেকর্ডিং হয়ে যায়.